The Sapphic vampire, a concept that feels so right and so fitting and so beautiful that a portmanteau of the two words is literally sapphire. A gorgeous, stunning, beautiful gem in this horrid, dark, and dingy world. The lesbian vampire trope in Western media is not new by any means. I believe it dates back to the early 1800s with this novel called Carmilla, which centered this relationship between Carmilla, this seductress vampire who lures in her target, Laura, who is a white, nubile, blue-eyed, blonde woman. But the lesbian vampire trope went full swing in the 70s with the sexual revolution, which mixed reviews, like net kind of negative reviews actually. The sexual revolution was not very helpful for women in the long term because yes, while it encouraged women to be and feel sexually liberated, but it didn't guarantee a world in which women would be safe within those sexual explorations. So it was very much so looking at women's sexuality in a vacuum, completely contextless, not very beneficial to women at all. There were a lot of men who pounced onto this new opportunity to be able to create media in which they could sexualize women, and oh, they did. That's why the Sapphic vampire trope is so popular, right? Because it literally was like almost the perfect world for straight men to build out their very strange fantasies. I'm just saying, okay? But because queer media is so hard to come by, queer people look at these 70s movies, these 70s lesbian vampire movies with a little bit of fondness. I mean, it's hard not to, because anything that has queer people in it is like, okay, that piques my interest. But now there's a lot more queer media, and we do have a few more Sapphic vampire characters that are more modern, more fleshed out. I don't know, just have more characteristics to them, have more depth. So let's get into some of them and rank them. The criteria for ranking is not necessarily how gay or how vampire they are. It's more so just like the arc, you know what I mean? Do they show darkness? Do they show evil? Because I do want them to be evil. How evil are they? Is their evil kind of justified? Let's get into it. Let's start off with Elizabeth Johnson from American Horror Story Hotel, played by Lady Gaga. I mean, when I think of a Sapphic vampire, one of the faces that comes to mind is definitely Lady Gaga. When I think of Elizabeth Johnson's backstory in the show, it's kind of cute, right? Like, all she wanted to do was be in her little throuple with Rudy and Natasha. Also, the amount of polyamory that's involved when it comes to Sapphic vampirism, but that's a separate story. I also love the fact that she doesn't have any teeth. She doesn't have she does have teeth. Oh my god. But she doesn't have any vampire teeth, which is very interesting to me. I kind of thought that was unique. I love that addition. I don't know. I just think that all in all, really cunty, lots of looks, really stunning. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to give her a name. Pretty simple A. Jennifer from Jennifer's Body. How could I make this list without mentioning Jennifer? Now, yes, she did take advantage of Needy a bunch. She did take advantage of the fact that Needy had a huge crush on her. But at the same time, she never killed Needy. Hey, that's huge. She had many opportunities to. She really wanted her in her life in some capacity. I mean, she definitely wanted her. She needed Needy more than Needy needed her. Whoa, that was crazy to say. She literally went in for a kiss. Did you guys know that that clip of Needy and Jennifer's kiss is literally like the second most viewed movie clip on YouTube? It's kind of insane. But yeah, I mean, she is an evil succubus. I love that she manipulates men, ultimately just uses them for their fresh, hot blood. And as far as I know, she's never really shown to kill any women. Easy B. Honestly, B or A. Then we have Bella Swan. Hear me out. You can't separate Kristen Stewart from Bella, and you can't separate Bella from Kristen. Let's also just take note of the fact that Bella Swan turned into a vampire in the last movie. And do you know what happened after the last movie? Kristen Stewart gay. So in my opinion, Bella being a vampire, or rather Bella turning into a vampire, and Kristen Stewart gay are two things that are inherently, they're just related to one another. For that reason, I feel like Bella Swan deserves to be on this list. Maybe like a D or an E. Park her somewhere in the middle of that. But considering that Kristen Stewart is who she is, I don't think she's taken on a single heterosexual role since that movie. Let's be real. And she played Diana. Like, Diana's literally a queer icon. Come on. Nadja from What We Do in the Shadows.
Who isn't gay?
A lot of people.
Oh, okay. Woohoo! I'll get the trumpets out. Sorry.
Again, another character that we don't overtly see with women, but she has said that she's gay or queer. She really reminds me of me. I just love that she puts on this strong, evil, argumentative front. But then as soon as she faces even the smallest of threats, she folds like fucking cake batter. I fucking love her. She's so funny. She's gonna get a solid B. Juliette from First Kill. Now, I understand that First Kill is like classic Netflix garbage TV be. Completely get it. But I still feel like it's very important media. First of all, if you think about it, it's really a lesbian version of Twilight without Bella. Juliette is 100% Edward, and Calliope is 100% Jacob. Juliette is cute. She's really nice. I feel like she means well, obviously. The whole show was a little bit kind of boring. I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't really invested. Maybe I'll give her a C. You know what? I'll give her a C. Okay, and the final one who's like easily S tier legend, Marceline the Vampire Queen. She's immortal, but she does feel pain, which immediately changes the game. Her and Princess Bubblegum's relationship is so complex and so layered. They literally go from, what is it, like friends to lovers to enemies to frenemies to lovers to enemies to lovers or something like that. I don't know. I'm not even remembering all the steps. They have such a complex relationship. Yes, like all of their stories are painted in this very imaginative, like sort of larger than life way. I mean, obviously it's a kids show, but it's still so relatable even to adults, like people in adult queer relationships. It's just so amazing that it's still a fantasy show and is so beautiful and vivid and colorful, but it deals with these relationships in a very real way. Like, you can really tell that the creators of the show put their entire hearts out, especially when they dealt with some of the more pivotal relationships in the show, like Marcy's and BB's. Yeah, easy S tier. I really am hoping for a future in which we can have more characters like Marceline. I also love the fact that Marceline is like mass. We don't ever see like butch vampires. Like, that's like not a thing. It's always like hyper feminine, like super seductress, like vampy. Makes it perfect, makes her a perfect character. That's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll leave some websites in the description below that list out a bunch of Sapphic vampire media in general, like not just television shows and movies. So go check those out as well. And thank you so much for tuning in. This is literally my 5th attempt at filming this video. If I don't get it right this time, I'm gonna get violent, okay? I'm gonna turn into a Sapphic vampire.